Hey everyone, Art here. I know it's a couple of days in a row, but I wanted to get this out there because I got a really good question this morning through email. I'm wearing my obnoxious green shirt because if you're watching this on Facebook, I want to be sure you stop and say, what the heck is he doing now? Because you can't miss this. I got an email from someone this morning saying, help, I'm confused. And this is, and he forwarded me an article that I happened to read the study that was the basis of the article the day before. And this is the tip, it infuriates me because this is typical media hype. And one of the reasons that people kind of throw their hands up in the air and give up, the whole sole purpose of the title of the article was to get people to click on it. That's the only reason. It takes a common idea, and you'll see this a lot in the media. They take a commonly accepted or popular idea, flip it around and make it contrarian, take something you really believe in and say, oh, this is going to kill you. So here's what they did. Low carb diets are associated with high mortality. Okay, here's what the study really said, because I actually read the study and not some health reporter's version of the study. What it said is that moderate carbohydrates actually prolong your life. Now, that's contrary to low carb diets that everyone seems to be on right now. That's not what the article said, not what the study said. What it said was that low carb diets can not be a healthy option, that is, not contribute to longevity, if when you pull those carbs out, you replace them with lots of animal fat. All right, it's kind of a U-shaped study. So people with moderate carbohydrate intake lived this long, okay? And then there was a drop with people with low carb diets, and then an increase again. A U-shaped study. What does that mean? People with moderate carbohydrate intake lived longer. People with low carb intake with a lot of animal fat didn't live as long. Now, this is not that surprising. You have a lot of saturated fat, lots of red meats, especially commercially grown beef in the United States, probably not the healthiest option. And then, but they didn't talk about down here. Low carb diets, people who lived longer. Oh, guess what? They actually replaced those carbohydrates with plant-based foods. All right, plant-based food, not the animal protein. Plant-based foods. They actually live longer again. So there's a low carb diet with people living longer. So I don't like when they try to misuse data to get you to read an article. That was the only purpose. So what the study didn't go on to do, and there's a couple of problems here. Number one, it's self-reported. So this was not a study in a lab with scientists measuring people. This is a self-reported study, which are notoriously unreliable. Number two, the study didn't go on to break down those animal fats, the people who were down to the bottom of the curve showing lower longevity. Were they eating grass-fed beef versus commercially grown beef in the United States, which are two different species? Whether you want to agree with that or not, completely different species with the conjugated fats that they contain. Everything about them is very, very different. Beef was not meant to be fed on grain. So they don't talk about that, whether it's grass-fed. And they don't talk about whether those animal fats that were plugged in there were fish-based. And I'm gonna bet that'll be a nice study to do. Let's go low carb diet, but let's have a high fish intake with EPA, DHA, good fats, omega 3s, the whole thing. So there's a few problems with the study, an inflammatory title to it. Low carb diets are healthy if you don't when you pull out those carbs, you don't replace them with massive amounts of saturated commercially grown beef. Okay, so let's do the proper interpretation of that study. Stick with your low carb diet and your plant-based foods along with it. All right, your mixed nuts and your things like that, your avocados and your vegetables and all those other things that you're supposed to be eating anyway, and minimize the carbohydrate intake. Also increases longevity. So there's the real skinny on this study and what it actually said. All right, I hope that's helpful. I hope it clears it up, but don't let the media continue this confusion by throwing out titles like that, which is only meant to increase their readability, not actual facts. Have a good one.